Conor McGregor is once again making headlines for a feud, this time with Ireland's rising MMA star, Paul Hughes. The controversy started after Hughes' hard-fought loss to PFL champion Usman Nurmagomedov in Dubai, a bout that many hailed as one of the best in PFL history. Despite inviting McGregor to corner him, Hughes instead found himself on the receiving end of McGregor's wrath after a post-fight interaction with Khabib Nurmagomedov. In a now viral video, Hughes was seen telling Khabib, "I'm not like this other guy," a statement that seemingly set McGregor off. The former UFC champion took to social media in a since-deleted rant, hurling insults at Hughes and even questioning his Irish identity, citing his Northern Irish roots. Hughes responded with class, expressing disappointment that his once idol would attack him over nationality. The incident has further divided McGregor's already shrinking Irish fan base, as many see his outburst as another example of his erratic behavior. While Hughes continues to gain respect, McGregor's standing in Irish MMA seems to be slipping even further. Jake Paul is back to stirring controversy, this time by taking aim at the entire sport of MMA. In a recent interview, the problem child claimed that MMA has regressed, evolving into nothing more than glorified kickboxing. He argued that fighters have become so proficient in takedown defense and jiu-jitsu that wrestling and submissions are fading, making the sport less dynamic. Paul contrasted this with boxing, which he claims is bigger than ever, citing massive events like Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia and Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. He even boasted about his own blockbuster fight with Mike Tyson, which drew over 108 million viewers. Paul pointed to Alex Pereira as proof of MMA's shift, saying the UFC's biggest star is a kickboxer who dominates because no one can take him down. He also criticized UFC fights for having fewer significant strikes per round, despite longer rounds. While Paul's comments were likely intended to promote himself and boxing, they've sparked debate among fans and fighters. Whether he's right or just trolling, one thing is certain: he knows how to keep his name in the headlines. Shara Magomedov and Michael Bisping share one of the UFC's most heartwarming friendships, bonded by their shared struggle of fighting with limited vision in one eye. Magomedov has repeatedly praised Bisping as his biggest inspiration, crediting the former middleweight champion for proving that a fighter with his condition could still reach the highest level of the sport. Currently in Saudi Arabia for UFC Riyadh, where Magomedov faces Michael "Venom" Page, the Russian fighter opened up about how Bisping's career gave him the motivation to push forward despite his disability. He admitted to once hiding his condition from others, just as Bisping did, and wished he had been able to seek his advice earlier. Bisping, now a UFC commentator, found Magomedov's words humbling, showing clear admiration for the rising fighter. Their bond adds an emotional layer to the event, where Bisping will be calling Magomedov's fight against Page, with Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov headlining the card. Magomedov's journey and his connection with Bisping provide an inspiring subplot to an already stacked event. Why Shara Magomedov was kicked out of Khabib's MMA gym. Shara Magomedov is one of the UFC's most exciting rising stars, but his journey could have been very different, if not for his hair. Despite being from Dagestan, the MMA powerhouse region, Magomedov never became part of Khabib Nurmagomedov's legendary fight camp. The reason? He refused to shave his head. As a child, Magomedov briefly trained at Nurmagomedov's gym, where a short, bald haircut was mandatory. However, his refusal to comply led to his exit, preventing him from training with some of MMA's most dominant fighters. While this may have cost him early elite wrestling training, it also allowed him to develop his own unique, flashy striking style, one that now sets him apart from typical Dagestani fighters. Magomedov returns to the octagon this weekend at UFC Saudi Arabia, where he faces Michael Venom Page in what promises to be a thrilling, high-energy bout. A win over Page would be the biggest of Magomedov's career, potentially putting him in the conversation as a future UFC middleweight title contender. His decision to keep his hair may have changed his path, but it has also made him one of the most exciting fighters to watch in 2025.